Welcome back to Chronicles of a Medium. I'm your host, Maureen Hashi, psychic medium, intuitive healer. Join me for compelling conversations into true crime, mediumship, and everything in between. Today's topic is about Alzheimer's and what the body and soul goes through during the transitions of Alzheimer's. How does someone with Alzheimer's, how do you know their spirit? How do you know that they had Alzheimer's? For me, there's always a heavy, dense energy around their crown chakra. And they've either had, when this happens, they've either had Alzheimer's or dementia. And the difference between the two is slightly different. Dementia, there's kind of a lighter energy, where with Alzheimer's, there's this density within their soul that's attached to Alzheimer's. The thing with Alzheimer's that I've noticed as a medium is there is a physical detachment between the physical body, the personality, and the soul. What Grace had told me, and that's not the patient's real name, what she had told me during my time as a healthcare aide at an Alzheimer's ward hospital is that her expiration date as a soul was different than her expiration date as a human physical body. And so she checked out early, leaving her body to just kind of fend for itself. And if you've ever experienced Alzheimer's, you know that the person sitting before you is not someone you can recognize. When a person with Alzheimer's comes through, there is a detachment of their soul, their personality, and their physical body. This is because their soul had an expiration date for their human experience on this planet that wasn't the same as the expiration date for their physical body. And we can experience this in many, many ways, and we can kind of make sense of it when we watch the person with Alzheimer's. They become unrecognizable. They're not someone that we can relate to because the person or the personality that we're used to no longer resides in that body. It can often feel like your loved one is somebody else because sometimes during the process of the soul stepping out from the personality body is other beings can jump in and take them for kind of a test drive, kind of like a hitchhiker. They borrow the body because nobody's in there. And this is why you can go to your loved one and often experience somebody totally different. The personality is changed, their voice sounds different, the way they talk, the way they move, even their moods or their vocabulary, the things they say. Sometimes they speak a foreign language that you never knew they could. And it can be alarming and unsettling, but don't be worried. One of the times that I was at the nursing home, I experienced this hands down with a gentleman I'll call Tony. And what was interesting is his family was mortified by some of his behaviors because he was overtly sexual and completely inappropriate, where when he was in his personality body, he was a proper gentleman. He never used cuss words. He never groped anybody, and certainly respected personal boundaries. Yet oftentimes when his soul wasn't present or his personality wasn't present, other beings would drop in and kind of, have a little bit of fun and be completely inappropriate. And this was really concerning for a lot of the family members, but it wasn't something he could control. As time goes on, you will notice that the soul or the personality of your loved one comes back less and less. As the physical body begins to deteriorate, this leaves them susceptible to more interactions with passerby spirits. You can also tell when your family member's physical body has a visitor because, like I said, they have personality traits that are different, their voice changes, even their physical appearance seems to look different because it's mirroring the being that has jumped in for a short time. This often happens during later on in the disease. As the person is progressing and the physical body is becoming weaker, they have more visitations, and the personality of the loved one often doesn't come back like it used to. Once the soul decides they're no longer returning, that physical body begins to deteriorate almost overnight. They begin to decline quite quickly as they make their transition to the other side. As time goes on, you will notice that the soul or the personality of your loved one comes back less and less. As the physical body begins to deteriorate, this leaves them susceptible to more interactions with passerby spirits. The advice I would give to someone and family members of someone that had Alzheimer's is, firstly, be kind. Be kind to yourself and your loved one. It's a process. During my training, we talked about reality orientation, but what I noticed is it usually seemed to confuse and upset them and agitate them and create anxiety because the person in this body is no longer there. Their personality is outside of their body, making it difficult for them to relate. The best thing you can do is just love them in the moment and take advantage of the brief snippets of time that you have when they do return. When they ask you, "Who are you?" it's okay to say, "We used to know one another," or "We're family," without stressing them out or pressing them to remember, because they're not physically capable. So even if you press them, it's not going to do either one of you any good. And like I said, it creates stress and anxiety for them in their physical body. Be loving, be kind, be gentle, because it's so frustrating, because they'll often repeat themselves. They say weird things, they do weird things, and it can be alarming, unsettling, and overwhelming. So just cut yourself some slack. Try to keep things organized for them. Make sure all their affairs are in order before they transition too far. And I think that another big thing is people don't get reprieves or help as often as they need it. So don't be afraid to Find facilities that offer good care for your loved ones and be present. Show up, show you care. Even if you can't visit your loved one as often, make sure that you're visiting the facility, that you're in communication with them, that you're a present force in your loved one's life to avoid any shortcomings or abuse. I'll just say it. It happens. Just be present. Lastly, I want you to remember that the person that you call mom, dad, brother, sister, aunt, uncle, grandma, grandpa, whomever, isn't always there. And you need to be kind and gentle with yourself because they're going through the stages of grief as well as you are. You can physically grieve the living person as they're transitioning in their waking death, basically. And it's just going to take time and patience. And sometimes you get to the end stage of acceptance before they've passed on. And, you know, others can give you a hard time about that, but you've had some practice on letting them go. So it's okay. Everyone is doing the best they can each and every moment, including yourself. So if you've detached from your person that has had Alzheimer's, try not to be too hard on yourself. But again, I'm going to say, show up to the facility. Even if you can't spend much time with your loved one, show up to the facility, call them, be in contact, make your presence known that your loved one means something to you, so they don't fall through the cracks or become invisible. Lastly, let's talk about letting go and overcoming disappointments, frustrations, anger, resentments during the lifetime of the person that has Alzheimer's in your life. They may not have been capable of being the person that you needed them to be. Whether it was nature versus nurture, their growing up, cellular memory, trauma, drama, all the things, addictions, narcissists, you know, mental health issues, whatever the problem was, the sooner that you work through the layers of disappointment, of them not showing up for you and letting it go, doesn't mean you're forgiving them. It means you're releasing it so you can do healing for yourself. I truly believe everybody does the best they can with the wisdom that they have within them to move through their human experience. And sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad, and it's certainly messy. So cut yourself some slack, cut them some slack, and allow yourself the freedom to just let go. Let go of all of it. Does it really matter? You can't go back and change anything. All you can do in this moment is move forward and allow love to heal you. Love the person that they are. Like it or not, they are who they are, and you can't change that, which makes it difficult. I have learned you don't have to forgive someone to move on with something or to come to terms with something. Certainly, I've had my fair share of letting go, because some things only God can forgive, and it's not up to us to force ourselves to feel something or to be a certain way because we're programmed as humans to be that way. Oh, we have to forgive. No, you don't. You can still move forward in life without forgiving someone, even if they have Alzheimer's. Learn to make your way to peace. Learn to make your way to healing and find a different perspective for your life. Learn to let go. Find the love. Seek peace. Do so through meditation, self-healing, a therapist. Do all the things to help yourself move forward to let go of the past. I hope you enjoyed this perspective on Alzheimer's from a medium and a healthcare professional. I'm your host, Maureen Hashi, psychic medium, intuitive healer. Keep on listening, and thank you so much for tuning in.